Charlotte Harbor National Estuary Program is a partnership to protect our estuaries, from Venice to Bonita Springs. An estuary is a very special place. It's where fresh water from the land mixes with salt water from the sea to create one of the most dynamic and productive habitats on Earth. These unique transitional places are often referred to as the nurseries of the sea because so many marine species are born there or spend part of their life cycle in these abundant habitats. From the shrimp and fish we eat, right up the chain to dolphins and manatees, they all rely on a healthy estuarine environment. It is the delicate balance of the salt and freshwater mix that makes the estuary such a biodiverse habitat, providing the perfect setting for species that are valued, both commercially and recreationally, to thrive. Maintaining this equilibrium in the water is crucial. The major source of fresh water flowing into the bays, harbors, sounds, and passes of the Charlotte Harbor Estuary comes from 3 rivers, the Peace, the Myakka, and the Caloosahatchee, in addition to many streams and creeks. Fresh water merges with the salt water in areas known as estuaries. The water is brackish, with salinity levels that can range from 0.5 to 35 parts per thousand. The salinity of estuarine water varies from estuary to estuary. It's affected by the tides, the season, the weather, and the quality and amounts of fresh water that flow into the zone from the watershed. Every area of land is part of the watershed. It encompasses countryside, farmland, woodland, and urban communities. The Charlotte Harbor watershed covers 4,700 square miles. When it rains, the water runs downhill, across the land into streams, creeks, swales, lakes, and rivers, which then flow to the sea. As the water meanders through the landscape, it absorbs all kinds of elements. Everything that's put in the ground feeds into the estuary, and therefore everyone living in the watershed ultimately affects the quality of this important ecosystem. Historically, water flowed across the land differently. Today, many of the wetlands, sloughs, and marshes that formerly provided a natural filtration system have been paved over, making it more likely that harmful pollutants will reach the estuary. In addition, when humans alter the flow of freshwater inland, it changes not just the amount of water, but also the time when that fresh water arrives downstream. This in turn impacts the naturally balanced ecology of the estuary. Oysters, seagrasses, turtles, and fish all time their reproductive cycles to indicators like salinity. Water management systems have the capacity to influence those triggers if they deliver too much fresh water into the estuary at the wrong time. Much of the water flowing across the watershed towards the sea travels through streams and creeks. These smaller bodies of water are no less important to the estuary than the larger rivers and lakes. More than 50 different fish species have been recorded in the creeks and streams of the Charlotte Harbor watershed. Many juvenile trophy fish, such as snook, tarpon, and redfish, depend on these shallow inland waters for the first year and a half of their lives, before moving back into the estuary to mature. The Charlotte Harbor Estuary is one of the principal economic drivers for Southwest Florida. It's why people are here. It is the foundation of the tourist industry and provides food and recreation. Thanks to the tireless efforts of local citizens and educational initiatives sponsored by organizations like the Charlotte Harbor National Estuary Program, it's one of the most productive estuaries in the United States. Citizens can protect the estuary in a number of ways. For example, reduce fertilizer use on lawns and golf courses, and dispose of hazardous materials such as motor oil at local collection sites. Learn more about estuaries and the wildlife that live there by visiting the Charlotte Harbor National Estuary Program website. Estuaries contribute to the overall well-being of ocean environments. Maintaining water quality and the healthy balance of salinity and oxygen in estuarine waters ensures their protection, which ultimately benefits people and wildlife.